Welcome back to ZE Coins. Today's video is all about the 1978 Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar. At first glance, there's nothing about the 1978 quarter that appears rare or extraordinary. It's not silver, it's not commemorative, and it wasn't produced in unusually low numbers. In fact, it's one of the more common dates in the Washington quarter series. But as many collectors know, value in numismatics is rarely about simple rarity alone. It comes from condition, mint mark variety, collector demand, and, occasionally, unexpected errors that slip past the mint and into circulation. And the 1978 quarter has all of those possibilities hidden within it. But to fully understand why this coin matters, it helps to step back in time to the late 1970s. America was in the middle of cultural and economic shifts. Inflation was rising, gasoline prices were climbing, and the nation was still adjusting to changes from earlier in the decade. In the world of coinage, the U.S. Mint had already transitioned away from silver coinage 12 years earlier, replacing it with copper-nickel-clad compositions. This means every 1978 Washington quarter is struck from a clad metal mix, a pure copper core wrapped in layers of copper-nickel. While it lacks the precious metal content of earlier quarters, collectors still prize it for its historical significance as part of the modern clad era. The Washington quarter design in 1978 remained unchanged from the original portrait introduced in 1932, intended to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, this portrait became a staple of American pocket change. By 1978, the design was familiar, iconic, and widely recognized. But even within this common design, small variations can create major differences in collectible value. One of the most important features on the 1978 quarter is the mint mark. There were two primary minting locations for this coin during that year: Philadelphia, which used no mint mark, and Denver, which used the letter D. While both saw millions of coins minted, certain high-grade examples, especially mint state pieces with flawless surfaces, can command surprising prices at auctions. Denver minted examples are often better struck, but not always. Some Philadelphia coins show strong strikes, and when preserved perfectly in uncirculated condition, they can draw substantial collector interest. Another fascinating aspect is the world of coin grading. A 1978 quarter pulled from circulation is typically worth face value, but a 1978 quarter graded MS 65 or higher by a major grading service can enter a very different category. Mint state grades measure how pristine the coin is, focusing on luster, clarity of details, and absence of nicks or scratches. Coins that appear freshly minted, without the wear and tear of circulation, are extremely hard to find in older dates. Think about how many hands a quarter passes through in the span of 4 or 5 decades. Finding one that remains nearly untouched is a challenge, and that scarcity is what drives value. Beyond condition, errors and varieties make the 1978 quarter even more interesting. While this date does not have a long list of major recognized varieties, collectors still hunt for off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and other minting anomalies. These errors can turn an otherwise common coin into a rare collectible. Imagine finding a slightly misaligned die strike in your pocket change, something just different enough that it doesn't look quite right. That's the kind of discovery collectors dream about. Error coins from the late 1970s are not as heavily documented as earlier decades, so every new find adds something valuable to the numismatic world. Let's talk about why this particular year still captures attention even without silver content. The late 1970s represent a transitional period in coin collecting. Many collectors, especially those just beginning at the time, save coins not because they were rare, but because they represented a moment in time, a slice of daily life. Today, those coins act as nostalgic relics for people who grew up during that era. The 1978 quarter is also one of the last years before major design changes and minting adjustments would come in later decades. As the country approached the 50-state quarter program introduced in 1999, coin designs would undergo dramatic changes, and the classic Washington obverse would be modified. So for many collectors, the 1978 quarter is part of the final chapter of the original long-running Washington quarter style, but value remains the biggest question. How much is a 1978 Washington quarter worth? For the majority of circulated coins, the answer is simple: they remain worth their face value. Millions were minted, and they continue to be found in circulation today. However, the story changes dramatically when a coin is preserved in exceptional condition. Graded examples at the highest mint state levels are not only rare, but highly desirable. A coin that escapes the normal fate of pocket change and remains untouched for decades can become surprisingly valuable. Now imagine the journey a high-grade 1978 quarter took. It might have been placed into a mint set shortly after production, sealed away from human handling. It might have sat untouched in a drawer, safety deposit box, or collector's album. Over the years, while millions of others were passed around, worn down, or lost, this one coin remained pristine. When that coin finally reaches the hands of a knowledgeable collector or professional grading service, its true value becomes apparent. This is what makes coin collecting so fascinating. Something as simple as a coin from the late 1970s, which many people still treat as ordinary pocket change, can transform into a prized collectible when preserved with care. That is exactly the world we step into when we look at the 1994 P Mint Mark United States of America Washington $quarter coin. What appears to be an everyday 25-cent piece may not be so ordinary after all, and that is why collectors, enthusiasts, and even completely casual hobbyists continue to pay attention to this specific year and mint mark combination. To truly understand why people get excited about a 1994 P $quarter, we need to take a step back and explore more than just its face value. What makes a coin valuable? Why does one coin become special while another remains something you hand over when buying a cup of coffee? The fascinating answer lies in a mixture of minting history, circulation patterns, metal composition, production variations, collector demand, and even accidental mistakes made by the minting machines themselves. Every factor adds a new layer of interest, and when all of them combine just right, a coin becomes something far more important than the workhorse pocket change we use each day. The Washington quarter itself has a long and meaningful history in American coinage. It was introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of the birth of George Washington. The design became so iconic that it remained the primary look of the quarter for decades. Even though small modifications occurred over time, the familiar portrait by sculptor John Flanagan became a staple of American life. Because of this, many people never think twice about the quarters they handle, but coin collectors learn quickly that appearances can be deceiving. Even coins with a design you've seen thousands of times may hide secrets that only a trained eye will catch. By 1994, the Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of quarters. The mint mark P on the coin identifies its place of creation. The large quantity minted might make some people wonder how any 1994 P quarter could possibly stand out. The truth is, high mintage does not automatically mean a coin is worthless. There are several reasons this particular coin continues to draw attention in the numismatic world. Among them are condition rarity, unusual die errors, and the ongoing interest in completing full date and mint mark sets for modern Washington quarters. But perhaps one of the biggest reasons enthusiasts continue hunting for these coins is the surprising reality that certain individual examples in high-grade condition can be valued far above what most people expect. Collectors are always on the hunt for what is known as a mint state example. That means a coin that shows no wear from circulation. Imagine a quarter that looks as if it just rolled out of a time machine, free from scratches, dulling, discoloration, or nicks around the edges. These coins are unbelievably difficult to find in public circulation today. Over the years, quarters bounce across counters, slide against other coins, fall into pockets, scrape against metal surfaces, and generally endure decades of handling. That is why a pristine 1994 P Washington quarter, especially one graded at a top level by a professional coin grading service, immediately becomes valuable. The story only grows more intriguing when we factor in specific minting anomalies. Sometimes a die, the metal tool that stamps the design onto the blank coin, develops cracks, chips, or misalignments. A slight shift during striking might cause doubling in the letters or numbers, known as a doubled die. A weak strike might create shallow details. A misaligned die might produce an off-center image. And even though the mint aims for perfection, mistakes inevitably slip through the machinery, and these mistakes become the types of collectible oddities that make coin hunting so exciting. The 1994 P series includes a variety of minor and moderate die errors reported by collectors, including die cracks near the rim, doubling in some lettering, and small distortions in Washington's portrait. While these errors may not always skyrocket a coin's value into the hundreds or thousands, they do increase interest and make the coin more desirable to enthusiasts. Some collectors focus exclusively on error coins, treating each variation like a unique puzzle piece in the broader story of minting history. Another layer of fascination comes from the cultural context surrounding coins from the 1990s. The decade, though not far behind us, has developed a growing nostalgic appeal. Vintage items from the 90s, whether toys, electronics, fashion, or collectibles, have been steadily rising in popularity. Coins from this era are now gaining attention as the generation that grew up during those years begins seeking out the symbols of their childhood. A quarter from 1994 might bring back memories of using payphones, arcade machines, vending machines, laundromats, and grocery store gumball displays. Suddenly, the coin is not just metal. It becomes a tangible piece of a person's past. Even though the majority of 1994p quarters remain at face value, the hunt for a gem quality or error example creates the thrill that drives collectors. Many individuals have found themselves surprised after learning that a coin they carried unknowingly for years actually held a significant premium. Some discovered rare high-grade examples tucked away in jars or coin banks. Others spotted crisp, lightly circulated pieces in old collections inherited from grandparents or parents. That possibility of unexpected value keeps the 1994p quarter in the spotlight among modern coin enthusiasts. But what exactly makes one single 1994p quarter worth more than the rest? Condition is everything. A coin may appear shiny at first glance, but under magnification, scratches or wear become visible. Sharp lines, bright luster, clean surfaces, and crisp detail in Washington's hair and the eagle on the reverse side all contribute to higher grades. These grades, typically numbered on a 70-point scale, determine how desirable a coin is to collectors. A 30-year-old quarter that still appears nearly flawless is rare, because so few were intentionally preserved at the time of minting. One of the most important lessons new collectors learn is that not all shiny coins are equal. Many coins may have polished surfaces from years of rubbing against other metal, but polishing actually reduces value because it damages the original mint luster. A true mint state coin has untouched surfaces and a natural reflective quality. This distinction is why professional grading plays a major role. Collectors rely on diagnostic standards to ensure authenticity and accurate assessment of condition. Because of this, auctions featuring exceptionally well-preserved 1994p quarters have attracted enthusiasm. When a coin is given a very high grade by a reputable grading service, its value jumps significantly. One example reached an impressive market value and continues to be cited among collectors as a reference point when discussing the potential worth of top-grade modern quarters. Beyond condition and errors, the story of the 1994p quarter connects with the broader journey of American currency. The quarter is perhaps the most widely used coin in daily commerce, second only to the penny in quantity. Yet, unlike pennies, quarters hold enough value that people pay closer attention when they are in short supply or when new designs are introduced. This significance grew with the statehood quarter program launched in 1999, which introduced millions of Americans to coin collecting. As interest in quarters grew, earlier issues like the 1994p began receiving renewed attention. Collectors often mention that the excitement is not just about financial gain, but the joy of the hunt. Searching through rolls of coins, checking change after purchases, and examining forgotten storage boxes can feel like a treasure hunt. Even if the majority of coins found are ordinary, the possibility of discovering that special one keeps motivation high. The 1994p quarter represents one of those attractive targets, modern enough to be familiar, yet old enough to have collectible potential, and interesting enough to inspire curiosity. And this is exactly why discussing the value of a particular 1994p quarter is so intriguing. Many collectors have pointed out examples where a mint state or premium quality coin reached beyond expected value levels. While everyday circulated pieces typically remain worth their face value to most buyers, certain high-grade examples have been recognized for significantly higher value. Among these, a standout price is known in numismatic circles and has been used as a point of reference when evaluating potential worth. We're taking a deep dive into a coin that many people have touched but few have really examined: the 2015 Mint Mark Washington Quarter Dollar. Whether you're a new collector, a longtime numismatist, or someone who simply loves the thrill of discovering hidden value in everyday objects, this journey into the world of modern American coinage will open your eyes to details you've probably never looked for before. First, let's imagine the path a coin takes before it ever reaches the public. Long before a quarter enters circulation, it begins as a blank piece of metal carefully prepared at one of the United States Mint's facilities. The 2015 Washington quarter was struck during an era of transition and revival within American coin collecting. Although the quarter's foundational design had been in place since 1932, the America the Beautiful series was actively running in 2015, continuing the tradition of honoring national parks and monuments across the country. Despite that, the obverse still carried the familiar portrait of George Washington sculpted by John Flanagan, a design beloved by generations and instantly recognized across the nation. The 2015 Mint Mark quarter was produced at the Philadelphia Mint, a facility known for its massive output and precision manufacturing. The letter P stamped on the front side of the coin, just to the right of Washington's ponytail, signals that this particular quarter was born in Philadelphia. While millions of quarters were minted that year, not all coins survive equally. Some stay pristine, untouched, and carefully placed in protective holders by collectors or saved in mint sets. Others get tossed into pockets, dropped onto concrete floors, scraped together with keys and receipts, or worn down after years rolling through vending machines. That difference between a fresh, sharp, uncirculated coin and a heavily circulated one can mean the difference between a coin worth face value and one that becomes a surprisingly valuable collectible. Now let's zoom in on what makes this specific coin interesting to collectors. Even in modern coinage, certain dates and mint marks experience lower mintages, unusual die varieties, or unexpected errors. The 2015 P quarter is sought after for a combination of these factors, especially in extremely high grades. Many collectors focus on what is called mint state condition, abbreviated as MS, followed by a number representing its grade. This number ranges from 1 to 70, with 70 representing a flawless coin displaying no signs of wear even under magnification. A coin that grades MS 65 or higher is considered premium and can command prices well above face value. When collectors evaluate the 2015 P Washington quarter, they pay close attention to certain features: the sharpness of Washington's hair, the clarity of the lettering, the smoothness of the fields, and the absence of scratches or contact marks. These details might seem small, but they matter tremendously to grading professionals. A single scratch or dull area can reduce the grade significantly. This is why coins taken directly from mint rolls or mint sets often score better than ones pulled out of circulation. In addition to condition, errors also play a major role in a coin's desirability. Error coins are created when something goes wrong during the minting process. A slightly misaligned die, a doubled design, a clipped planchet, or issues with striking pressure can result in unique imperfections that collectors love. For the 2015 P quarter, several minor die chips and die cracks have been reported, especially around the lettering and Washington's profile. Although not all of them carry significant premiums, the most dramatic examples attract attention from collectors who enjoy unusual or one-of-a-kind coins. It's also interesting to think about the historical context of this coin. In 2015, the United States was experiencing rapid advancements in technology, shifting political landscapes, and evolving economic patterns. Yet while much of the world was moving toward digital transactions, coins like the 2015 Washington quarter continued to circulate widely, serving as a daily reminder of the country's heritage. These coins reflect not only the mechanical precision of the mint, but also the tradition of Americans exchanging physical currency, something increasingly rare in the modern digital age. Collectors often find themselves drawn not just to the physical appearance of the coin, but to the symbolism and story behind it. The portrait of George Washington represents leadership, independence, resilience, and the birth of the nation. The quarter itself has served for decades as one of the most widely used denominations in the United States. From toll booths to laundromats, arcade machines to parking meters, the quarter has touched the lives of practically every American. When you look at a 2015 P quarter, You're not just holding a piece of metal. You're holding an object with meaning, history, and national identity. Another important part of evaluating the value of a coin is supply and demand. Even if millions were minted, not all survive in the highest grades, and not all are saved by collectors. Many people don't realize how difficult it is to find modern coins in truly top-tier condition. Even fresh coins from bank rolls often show tiny imperfections caused by coin-to-coin contact during shipping. That's why high-grade coins certified by professional grading organizations like PCGS or NGC can sell for significantly more than lower-grade examples. The value of collectible coins also fluctuates based on trends in the numismatic market. For example, if demand increases due to renewed interest in a particular series or design, prices can rise accordingly. Sometimes, public events or anniversaries spark new attention. Other times, a discovery of a new era variety boosts collector enthusiasm. It's always fascinating to watch how the market evolves, and the 2015 P quarter continues to attract attention among both beginners and advanced collectors. Now imagine a collector sorting through a batch of coins and discovering a pristine, gleaming 2015 P Washington quarter in almost perfect condition. At first glance, it might seem like just another coin, something worth only 25 cents. But to the right buyer, in the right grade, it becomes something far more valuable. Its craftsmanship, preservation, and condition elevate it from common currency to a desirable collectible item. But what about average people who aren't collectors? Is it possible for the everyday person to find a valuable 2015 P quarter in their pocket change? The answer is yes, though not every coin will be valuable. Most you'll find in circulation will be worn, scratched, and show signs of use. But every now and then, someone gets lucky and discovers a gem that somehow avoided wear. That's the thrill of coin collecting, never knowing when the next exciting find might appear. As we continue exploring the story of the 2015 P quarter, it's important to appreciate how numismatics blends art, science, history, and even a bit of treasure hunting. Coins like this one serve as small artifacts passed from hand to hand, generation to generation, holding stories of both the mint that created them and the people who carried them. They remind us that even the most common objects can hold extraordinary value when we look more closely. Before we wrap up, let's summarize the key points. The 2015 P Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar is a modern coin with classic design heritage, produced at the Philadelphia Mint. It appeals to collectors for its condition potential, interesting die varieties, and place within the America the Beautiful series. While most examples you encounter in daily life will be worth face value, high-grade versions, especially those professionally certified, can be surprisingly valuable. The joy of collecting comes from learning what to look for, appreciating the craftsmanship, and sharing discoveries with a community of enthusiasts. Today, we're diving deep into the world of modern U.S. coinage, focusing specifically on the 2020 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar, a coin that became unexpectedly sought after by collectors, treasure hunters, and numismatic enthusiasts around the world. While most quarters jingle together without much thought, this particular series captured public attention for several reasons. A unique time in American history, low circulation conditions, interesting design variations, and its developing collectible value. So sit back, relax, and let's explore what makes the 2020 D Washington quarter so special, why collectors are drawn to it, and what determines its value and potential worth. If you've ever stared at your pocket change and wondered, could this be worth more than 25 cents? This is the video you've been waiting for. The story behind the 2020 quarter. First, let's rewind and look at the story of the quarter itself. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932, originally introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. But starting in 1999, the U.S. Mint began releasing a variety of themed quarters, from the State Quarters program to National Parks and America the Beautiful series. These weren't just circulating coins. They became collectibles, tokens representing different parts of American history, culture, and geography. The year 2020 marked the final stretch of the America the Beautiful series, a year filled with striking designs and, unexpectedly, historical significance, not just because of the artwork, but because of the global conditions affecting production and circulation. Coin shortages, reduced mint output, and inconsistent distribution gave the 2020 quarters a unique story, making them instantly appealing to collectors who knew something unusual was happening. One key point. Many people simply weren't using cash in 2020. Digital payments spiked. Businesses closed temporarily. Coins sat unused in drawers and jars. This dramatically influenced the circulation patterns of 2020 coins, especially Denver minted ones that the 2020 D Mint mark. What makes it special? Now, let's zoom in on the Denver Mint version, the 2020 D Washington quarter. The D Mint mark, located on the right side of George Washington's bust, stands for Denver, where millions of circulating coins are struck every year. But here's the twist. Even though millions were minted, the distribution bottleneck in 2020 meant that many never reached the public. Collectors quickly noticed that 2020 D quarters were harder to find than usual in pocket change. That scarcity, not in total mintage but in circulation, sparked interest and boosted collectible demand. Collectors love a challenge. And when something feels just a little harder to locate, the appeal skyrockets. That's exactly what happened with these coins, the designs of 2020. The 5 reverse QRS each 2020 quarter features George Washington on the obverse side, but the reverse designs vary. There were 5 America the Beautiful designs released that year. National Park of American Samoa, Fruit Bat Mother and Pup, Weir Farm National Historic Site, Connecticut Salt River Bay National Historical Park, U.S. Virgin Islands Marsh Billings Rockefeller National Historical Park, Vermont Tallgrass Prairie National Preserve, Kansas. The 2020 D Mint mark appears on all 5 designs, and collectors often try to complete the full set. Among these, the Salt River Bay and Fruit Bat designs gain particular popularity due to their striking imagery and the cultural moment they were released in. Many people jokingly referred to the Fruit Bat quarter as the pandemic quarter because it featured bats during a year dominated by viral discussions. Whether coincidence or simply perfect timing, it became an internet sensation. And popularity always influences value. Condition and value FS. So what affects the value of a 2020 D Washington quarter? Let's break it down. 1. Condition coins come in many grades, from well-worn circulated coins to pristine mint state examples. A coin fresh from a mint roll carries significantly more value than one that has spent months in circulation collecting nicks and scratches. 2. Strike quality. Some 2020 D quarters have sharper details and stronger strikes than others. A crisply struck coin brings more interest from graders and collectors. 3. Errors and varieties. Error coins are always hot topics. Off-center strikes, double dies, die cracks, and other mint errors can add substantial value depending on rarity and visibility. While there haven't been widely publicized major errors for the 2020 D quarter, smaller die chips and die breaks do exist, and collectors eagerly search for them. 4. Collector demand. When hype increases, so does value. Online forums, coin communities, and social media buzz all contribute to raising interest and price. That's why people started hoarding 2020 coins. Here's another interesting twist. Many people began hoarding 2020 coins, quarters, pennies, nickels, dimes, because of the coin shortage and the historical context of the year. Anytime there's a sudden economic shift or major historical event, coins minted during that period become more collectible. Think about it. Production changes, panic, shortages, unique social conditions, limited circulation, rise of digital transactions, all that combined to make 2020 coins more desirable, especially Denver Mint ones that were less commonly spotted in eastern states. The numismatic grade Pingal. If you think your 2020 D quarter might be special, grading could confirm it. Coins graded MS 65 and above may command higher prices. While grade values fluctuate depending on market demand, modern high-grade coins can be surprisingly valuable if they stand out from the rest with superior luster, minimal blemishes, and strong eye appeal. How to identify a 2020 D quarter worth can be to look for. Sharp details on Washington's hair-smooth fields without scratches, strong rims with no flattening, bright original luster, no heavy contact marks. If your quarter still looks fresh, it may be worth holding on to. Why these quarters could become more valuable over time. Coins don't become valuable overnight, but certain traits suggest long-term potential. Historical significance, low circulation, appearance, popular and memorable designs, collector interest in specific mint years, possible future scarcity, As coins disappear into collections, the America the Beautiful series ended in 2021, meaning these designs won't return. Finite supply plus long-term demand often leads to increased value. Collectors love a full S. One of the biggest reasons 2020 D quarters maintain collector interest is that enthusiasts often want full sets of all 5 reverse designs from the same mint. If a single design becomes harder to find in high quality, its value rises because it becomes the key coin needed to complete a set. Depending on how many pristine coins remain in circulation, 1 or 2 of the designs may eventually develop key date status. Where they are found, these coins still show up. In circulated pocket change in bank rolls in, sealed mint rolls in, Coinstar reject trays in, coin jars people saved during 2020, but as more people collect them, finding a high-quality example becomes increasingly challenging that the future. So what does the future hold for 2020 D Washington quarters? Collectors believe that as the years go by, higher-grade examples will become premium items. The unique circumstances of 2020 give these coins historical momentum. They also represent the final chapter of a multi-year American coin series loved around the world. This makes them very attractive for long-term collectors and casual hobbyists alike. The final SCN or what to wrap everything up. The 2020 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar is more than just pocket change. It's a coin shaped by unusual circumstances, unique designs, unpredictable distribution, and high collector interest. While millions exist, not all were widely circulated, and high-quality examples are becoming prized finds. Whether you're casually searching your change or building a serious coin collection, the 2020 D quarter is one to watch.